welcome back to the first edition of the 2012 Riddle District Football League web TV program. We had a rip-roaring first half where we had a look at the juniors and the netballers, but Gav, you've got the hammer out, or sledgehammer in this case. Ease up on that one there. You're going to take it out to some of the teams.
Yeah, but maybe not the sledgehammer. It might be just a gentle tap. But no, I've made a few notes and a few observations over all of the games I've been to this year. So, yeah, there might be a couple of people that get a little tap or maybe a bigger tap, but we'll wait and see how they go.
Oh, before we head there, we'll have a look at a bit of the under-18s competition, because as we spoke about with the juniors, the stars are stepping up, but it all happens here in the under-18s. We'll look back to a couple of years ago, Gav. Woodend Heskett took on Kilmore in one of the great grand finals, probably ever in under-18s level. I think Woodend got up by a kick, 106 to 100. Yeah. And the standard of competition was sublime. So it continues to head that way at the moment, because the top two sides in the competition are really a benchmark above the rest. And not surprisingly, they continue to constantly drive through the youth there. That's, of course, being Riddle and Macedon. Riddle sitting on top by a game, but Macedon, they've got a little bit of percentage up. Yeah,
that's both sides have only dropped one game, I think, and they've both performed really well. Riddle played the Kangaroos on Sunday and got up in a close one, 10 points. So, look, I think that our top 3 or 4 sides are really putting on a show in our under-18s, and it's been a really good competition again.
How do you assess the form of the reigning premiers, Woodend Heskett? They've been there or thereabouts. They're a game outside the top 6. They've got a lot to learn at the moment.
Yeah, they've just. I think they've. The Hawks have been hit a little bit. Some of their under-18s playing senior footy. That's understandable. Your senior football side should and will come first.
Yeah.
But look, these sides are performing every week. The guys that are running out on the ground are creating contest, and they're performing really well.
Which is perfect for what we're sort of expecting at this level. One of the players that's really impressed me in the times when he's been made available, Tim Rousel. I know he had a stint up at the seniors. He crossed over from Gisborne this year, and his dad heavily involved. But Tim, he's a Best and Fairest winner for the competition, is he, in recent years? So.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So we've had him here on the show before, and he goes all right. So he's been one of the players I've been very impressed with that I've seen out on the paddock, sort of working really hard. Nice to see Wallen up there and Broadford and Kilmore. They filter the bottom 3 of the top 6, and given that they're so far out, and Kilmore especially, I don't know how they do it, Gav, but when you've got Assumption College in your back pocket there, it makes it very hard to get a competitive side. But they seem to be there.
Yeah, I believe they had trouble in one game against the Kangaroos where the Assumption boys weren't available. But look, all credit to all of these sides that are getting under-18s up. It's having coached the under-18s, I know how important it is as a filter to your senior football club. So these sides, every single one of them that are really putting in the hard yards and putting in the effort. Diggers Rest come back into the competition this year. They're performing really well. They're competitive. The young guys are really putting in. I believe they've even filtered in one of their under-18s into the senior side, which is great, especially for a side that's sat on top of the senior ladder for so long. So look, the under-18s competition's great, and the clubs do need these sides up and running, and all of our clubs have worked really hard.
Are we close to seeing Melton Central getting there, just from your general knowledge, mate?
Oh, look, I'd hope so, but I'm not entirely sure of where they're situated. I know they've tried for the last few years to get an under-18s up, but with Melton and Melton South sort of holding a monopoly there, that's made it hard for them. But they've taken the right steps by putting junior football club in place. So those players will hopefully flow on through and eventually become under-18 footballers for Melton Centrals, and off we go.
Well, we can certainly keep our fingers and toes crossed on that one, because it'd be a great achievement for the league, especially if we can have full set.
Full complement is what it's all about, so that'd be great.
Speaking of full complement, we've seen some rip-roaring games in the reserves this year. Gav, you've been watching on with great interest.
Yeah, I've seen some really good games of reserves footy this year. All of our sides again. There's a lot of young guys that are coming through the under-18s. In the past, I think a lot of our reserves grades have been sort of guys like me running around out there, and the younger blokes haven't sort of pushed through. But I think that there's been a real turn in that tide, and we now see a lot of our reserve sides have kids from the under-18s coming through that once they've graduated from that 18s program, and they're all out there running around now, and they're performing really well. And I mean, when you have a look at our top 7, they're really close. They're really bunched up. Riddle and Diggers Rest lead the way at the moment. I've seen the Bombers again on the weekend, and they were really impressive against Sunbury. Diggers Rest, the full forward from a few years ago, Big Paney. He's made a return this year and has been dominating in the reserves competition. He's played a couple of senior games as well, but he's still leading the goal kicking in the 2s. And Romsey, who started the year off really well, sitting in 3rd place. And I mean, then we've got Macedon, Sunbury and Wallen, who on their day are all competitive with those top 3 sides, and Kilmore the same thing. So it's been really good to see.
One of the more bizarre games of reserves footy that I've seen this year, and I think it ended up being Romsey's first loss, so it was a couple of weeks ago against Diggers Rest. Diggers Rest team without Paney, mind you, he was playing first footy, and Diggers Rest did the job by a fair margin as well. It goes to show that on any given day, the quality of competition can rise to the top.
Absolutely,
and cause the upset.
And that's been the real thing that, or the real thing that we've noticed this year with the 2s competition is that the results are really varied. There's no real consistency with any of the sides. I think the side that's been most consistent that I've seen has been Riddle. Even Diggers Rest, a couple of times there have been in games where they've been right to the wire, and Diggers have been able to kick away in the last quarter and sort of change the complex of the game. But early doors in the first 3 quarters looked in all sorts of trouble. So it's a really good competition. Anyone can sort of get up and get a win on a day. So much depends in the 2s competition on injuries in the seniors and unavailabilities, and I mean all of this sort of thing will always play a part in reserves footy.
And of course the interesting thing that I find with this as well, Gav, is the top 6 in the reserves are the same top 6 teams in the seniors.
Shows that our senior clubs have got a bit of depth, which is fantastic. I mean, you need that depth to be able to compete in the senior competition. I think we've seen that over the past couple of years as our senior competition's really improved with the influx of players. And these clubs have been able to maintain their playing list and build that depth, which has resulted in their reserve sides playing in the, or currently sitting in reserves finals.
And the reigning grand finalists, Macedon and Sunbury, are they a chance to get up there?
Oh, look, everyone's a chance. Any time of any game, any week, they've just got to position themselves, and it goes for every side. If they position themselves well, all of these sides we've had in the past where players have played in the seniors have dropped down in the reserves finals. Well, we're not going to have that excuse in the first week of finals, the way it's going at the moment, because all of these sides are going to be playing.
Well, let's certainly, we'll give that a bit more of an analysis next, because coming up next here on the RDFL Web TV program, we're going to dissect and give Gav his sledgehammer, or little hammer there, on some of the senior teams in the rundown to the end of the 2012 home and away season. We'll be back with the final quarter next in the RDFL Web TV show right after this.